should just know in the same sense that when it comes to a physical matter, when something hurts him, he knows he has to attend to it. The same is also in a spiritual sense. This is also what it says in the Zayar, that since Hashem is my shepherd, therefore I won't be lacking what I need. That Hashem the Almighty is with me, that when Hashem is with me, that alone is not sufficient, that I won't be lacking anything. It has to be that Hashem is my shepherd. He's supplying me. He is sustaining me. The Inyan Rei, Moshe Rabbeinu, Rei means my shepherd, like Moshe Rabbeinu. Neman, Rei Neman, a true shepherd. He took the grass. Desha means the covering of green. Esav means the grass itself. As Rashi explains in the beginning of Chumash Bereshis. Sheyiyah Masim, it should be in accordance, like Deilam Alaktanim. It should be in accordance for adults and for children. I'm talking here about the sheep. It should be for the older sheep and the younger sheep. Each one, he got their grass. Dilik Deilim for the older ones, Nosnak Pasha, he gave them the harder grass. Well, the Kanim, the ones that are don't really have the teeth and everything that they need yet. Nosan Esarakim, he gave them the soft grass. This is the inyan that he contracted it, that he limited it, restricted. Each one got it according to their servings. The inyan that this inyan that he comes down to each one and he caters to each one according to its needs. Why is it that it can come down to very low? Is because it comes from a very high level. Therefore, there won't be anything missing by the person because Hashem Rei, because the Eibishter is the one that's sustaining them. In this level, it's not shaykh, it's not appropriate to say interruption or anything lacking, because this is a level which is higher than all limitations. Now the Rebbe continues with the next pasuk. Then comes the pasuk after he continues. In the pasuk after that, David HaMelech, King David says, "B'neis desha yarbitzeni," that you stroll me, you let me stroll b'neis desha, which is in the beauty of the grass, of the green. V'isa b'zeyar b'neis desha u'neis yankiv. Neis desha goes on Yankiv, and the third of our patriarchs. Upirshe b'Kabbalah, it's mentioned in Kabbalah, it's explained in Kabbalah. Shehu Sfiras HaTiferes. This is the attribute of Tiferes. Shemispoir b'chol hashish ktsaves. The attribute of Tiferes is the middle line of all the Sfiras. There's the right, there's the left, the middle. And because it is the middle, it reaches higher than the other two lines. And therefore it is also higher than the other two channels. And therefore it is also called Gufa, Tiferes Gufa. Gufa means the essence of it. And it also consists of the other spheres, because this is the essence of all the spheres. Ve'elat pnimius hakeser, it reaches on to pnimius hakeser. So therefore, this is the B'nei Desha Yarbitzeni, this goes on Yankiv. Yankiv represents...
How can I read? The Keter is the top. And Tiferet is the middle. How can I reach the top? There's like a few meters before him.
Because he is Kavo Emtsoi. Chochmah is in Kava Yamin, Bino is in Kava Smeil. So you have Keser is on top, and Tiferes is Kava Emtsoi. So yeah, it goes direct. It's a direct line.
So it's not one.
Das Tiferes Yesed are the Kava Emtsoi. Goes. It's like the Mittel Rebbe once drew the table. Only time Chassidus in Pat Kedesh.
What did he draw?
The Mittel Rebbe drew a table of the 10 attributes in a letter that he wrote to the Tsar when he was in prison. And they asked, one of the arguments was, how come Malchus, the attribute of Malchus royalty, is the lowest of all of them? So Mela, he wrote a whole letter explaining and answering all the questions that the Tsar was bothered with.
Do we have this letter?
The letter is printed in Hebrew. It's called Bat Kodesh.
With the design?
With the design. That's where you know it from. It's a table. It's a table with
And his
3 columns. and the Sfiris, and Malchus is in the middle on the bottom.
And his handwriting.
No, it's typed.
So we never saw the original.
It could very well be. The Rebbe says that the Alter Rebbe wrote it originally. The Mittel Rebbe used it, maybe he did stuff, edited something, but it was the Alter Rebbe originally. It was based on the Alter Rebbe's letter. They named the letter Bad Kedesh because the word Bad, you turn it around, is Doiv, which is the Mittel Rebbe's name. So it could be the Chassidim named that name. Today it is printed in the Maimorim of the Mittel Rebbe, Maimori Admuram Tzoi Kuntresim. The Kuntres is printed there.
He had Shilas afterwards, after he saw the letter?
No,
He saw the chart, he had questions?
Maisa say that the letter Bechlal wasn't the issue. The issue over here was
He had questions.
he had questions. That's one thing, and then he really got interested in getting letters from the Mittel Rebbe, because the ones that were bringing the letters were the daughters of the Mittel Rebbe. The daughters of the Mittel Rebbe were very beautiful, and he was constantly, causing that they should come again and again. So finally they came and they broke down and cried, and they said, we want our father out of prison. So at a certain point he says, don't worry, I'm letting him out of prison. So it's mentioned in Zechrenes, in certain Zechrenes, that he was just constantly just delaying it, and they brought it in Russian. This Bat Kedesh, they delivered it to the Tsar or to the Tsar's office, or whoever, the Tsar himself or the office, but it was the officials that were handed this Bible. Interesting. So the Rebbe continues in the Maimer Messiahim Zeyar Sham. So then he continues in the Zeyar Sheimer Neis Desha Eimer Neis Stam. He doesn't say Neois Stam. Neois means beautiful. So he says he doesn't just say Neois. He says Neois Desha. Desha means beautiful grass, not just Neois Stam. Why? Why does he have to say Neois Desha? The word Neois means nice, Noe, beautiful. He says, "Lefisha ne'eis stam efshar li es gam ne'ois midbar." Ne'ois stam, when we say ne'ois without the word desha, green, it could also mean a desert, because a desert is also referred to as ne'eis, nice. So the Rebbe asked the question, it's not understood. Varigam b'ne'eis midbar ha'shayach lechitzenim ne'emar be'gam ken yirafun ne'eis midbar v'gil gvois tach gerna. That there's the beauty of the midbar, the gil voice, and the joy of the hills that are like the girdle there, the gartel that the belt around them. That although it's shaykh to external elements, which are negative elements, impure elements, that the ne'es midbar, the beauty of the midbar is being expressed, that the chorim hatzain, the sheep, they're wearing their fur, they dress as a fur. This is all aistas from the praising related to the midbar. Shagam and eis midbar yiyah letzain Yisrael. That also from the beauty of the desert, there should also be for the sheep that belong to the Jewish nation. So if so, since the union of midbar also has beauty, so why does he have to say green? Why can't he say neis midbar, the beauty of the midbar, the desert? Acho inyan hu, that it's not in the highest quality a desert. Since this whole chapter in Psalms speaks about refinement in a very subtle way, not with exertion and not with any tireless efforts, as it was in the time of Shleima, King Solomon, the Shleima Yosef bim Keme, that Shleima set in his place in the same sense that by Shleima, when he sat in his place and everything was in a very refined way, in a subtle way, that he didn't have to do anything on his own. The same is also in regards to this chapter, that since Hashem is my shepherd, and therefore I won't be lacking anything, because if we would say Ne'es Midbar desert, there would be a need for exertion. This would have to be waging war. Al derech, like it was in the Midbar. Yidden were in the Midbar. They had to go through Nachash, Sora, V'Yakrov, snakes and scorpions and everything. And the Midbar and the Arden was waging war. The Holy Ark was waging war and removing everything before they got there.